Okay, I think we shall start. Are we good? Yeah. So who believed it was one of the finest and such a cool and calm and exciting performance by Darshan and Priya? Absolutely. Absolutely. The humbleness this couple carry, I mean, whenever they come on the stage, they are so calm and composed, but the kind of value they add to all of us, it's amazing, it's tremendous. Wonderful. So, I'm sure this show wouldn't have been possible. This was a flawless show, right? I mean, this wouldn't have been possible without the support and servitude of all the volunteers. So, why don't we, let me do it this way. The volunteers who came in first, let me just recognize them first. And that's our AV team. What a super performance by AV team. They, Avicii, Steven, and Kian. And Mel as well. Wonderful. So next is our registration desk. We've got Preeti, Prithvi, Chaitali. Who else? Within 10 minutes, everything was taken over. So they are the leaders of this arena, I would say. Because we have I think I should shout now. Okay, so I'm sure you guys are ready. You guys are ready to take further notes. Because Darshan and Priya, they are all packed up after the wonderful summer conference, and we all are charged up and pumped up, and they've got a lot to share. And whenever this couple come on stage, the kind of value they add to all of us is amazing. So put your hands together and help me welcome Darshan and Priya again on the stage.
For such a wonderful hosting. Like, it was way above the standards, I would say. And from the beginning, like even we had a big conference, but he made sure he had done all his work way before timing. Like last Tuesday itself, he mentioned like what do you need and everything, and it was flawless. So thank you so much, Nishant, and can we give him a big round of applause? So we'll quickly move on to the training part, and today we will be sharing a little bit about goal setting and few of the few challenges. Of course, we have just been back from a big conference, so a lot has been shared. It might be a repetitive thing what we shared, but
it will definitely be reinforcing. Okay. Let's put it this way. So, shall we start? Yeah. Great. So, I'm super excited to speak to you all. Nowadays we have a good situation that we don't get to speak for a couple of months, which keeps refreshing. If you see me every week, you will be bored. Great. So, yeah, like Priya said, we're going to talk about a little bit about goal setting, a little bit about specifically post function, because I'm sure a lot of you have to ask me right now. Some of your excitement may die. Some of you still are excited with 3 days or 2 days now. Okay? And that's what generally happens with every major event we attend to. The goals we set on Sunday, and then after 1 week are different. Right. How many of you have agreed? I've been through that. I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm just going to, we're going to share our experiences. But before you implement anything, check with your coaches and mentors. Okay? Don't just literally take what we are saying and hopefully it's going to be on the same line. But I want to make sure that you discuss any change, before you decide to do any changes, discuss this with your coaches and mentors before you implement. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so how many of you had set some goal on Sunday or after coming back from the conference? Yeah, quite a lot of them. Okay, now see, this is something I learned, and Shrey and Amishi talked about last workshop in the training session as well, about setting smart goals, right? All of you know that. Okay? So I just want to kind of bring out your goals that you've shared, if it's on your phone, if it's in your notebook. I just want to do some checks for me. Okay? How many of you think that the goals that you have set is specific? Because it has to be specific. It can't be generic. I want to be successful. That's not specific. It's very generic. You can't identify what is success. It's different for different people. Okay? How many of your goals is measurable? You don't have to raise your hand, but just ask yourself. Is it measurable? Can you measure it? Or is it something that's very vague? Okay. Is your goal achievable? Or is it too far out? Or second question is, do you know how to achieve that goal? Is there clarity in your mind? Like some of you may have put a goal of a rising star. Do you know what is a rising star? What does a rising star structure look like? Second thing is, do you know what it takes to build a rising star structure? Because a lot of us don't have clarity. And yes, I want to go rising star because I know that now next step is to go rising star, but what it takes, how much work I do I need to put in. Again, the work is different for different people. It's not the same amount of work. It's not like two people, they both do 20 appointments a month and they both will be rising star. No, one may not. Because the work for everyone is different. Some of us need to focus on our self-development before we can even start developing the network. Some of you may be in a position in your workplace that you have developed yourself to a level where you can start leading fairly quickly. So it's a different game for different people. Okay? It's not the same work for everyone. Okay? How many of our goals is realistic as well? Do we really believe in what we have said? Or is it just out of excitement we just said it? And like I said, 1 week after, that goal may be different. It's okay. It's okay to reset it. There's nothing wrong in that. Because we want to have a goal which is realistic, which is something we feel like we can achieve. If it's too far-fetched, we're just going to think that, man, this is not going to happen. After that initial excitement of the function, the goal will look like too big, and it's like, oh man, forget about it. I'll set up new goal for the next year. Is it time bound? Is there a deadline to it? Some people say, I want to go rising star. When? After 5 years? Or next conference? I'm not saying you have to have a rising star goal for next conference, but the thing is, do you know when? So hope it makes sense. Now there are different types of goals. One of them is a structure goal, which is rising star, eagle, double eagle, which talks about the number of legs and number of partners. Okay. And there's also another goal is called activity goal. If I just have a structure goal but no activity, then it's very unlikely that the goal is going to happen. Like if I put a goal of say I want to go rising star, but I don't know what activity I'm going to do on a daily basis, what makes me think that I'm going to achieve that goal? First of all is to identify what work is required, and second thing to have that as a goal for a daily, weekly or monthly basis to achieve the goals that we have set. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is potential challenges. This is what we have gone through a lot, still going through some of them, and based on our experience, we have observed a lot of partners go through this as well. Okay? After, like, if you ask Sunday anybody, you're going to go diamond, the answer is yes. Right? After 1 month, you may not see the person. Is what happens. Biggest thing, what we observe is life situations. Now, I'm not saying that people are bad. Don't get me wrong. If somebody decides, like somebody is not at the workshop, I don't judge them. I don't say that that is a bad person. That's not what we do. Don't get me wrong here. Okay. I'm just sharing it just to kind of lighten the mood, but don't, by no means, if I don't see you for 2 weeks and if you come back to workshop, I'm not going to judge you. Neither anybody here will judge you. If somebody does, that's their problem, not your problem. But the thing is, life situation happens, and as long as we live, it's going to happen with all of us. Health. It could be our own health or family's health. It could be finances. Financially, especially students, you have to pay the fees. Finances are messed up. I understand. I've been through. My finances were not always great when I was a student. It could be visa situation. Those who are going through that. We know some people who are going through right now who are going through visa situation. It's so bad that they have literally had like a 1 or 2 weeks of deadline that they don't do something, they have to go out of the country. These situations are real. I'm not saying that, and we understand that. Then there could be job situation. Suddenly you get notice that you're no longer required. It becomes your number one priority. So all of a sudden now you have to focus on getting a job. It could be kids, anything. I'm just going to throw some examples here. But the point is, question is, how do we handle these things? And based on our experience, we have had so many discussions with our mentors when we went through this kind of situations. Life was perfect, not really. But we did whatever best we can do, and in that situation what we were able. Not based on my own thought process, but also seeking feedback from my mentors and asking them about, hey, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm thinking of doing, what would you suggest? Is there anything I can do better? Why? That's what mentorship is all about. Is learning, like I shared in my presentation, is learning how to navigate through these situations. That's what we mean mentorship is. And because all of us go through situations, all of us go through stuff, are we willing to go and talk to someone who can guide us in a better, help us to make better decisions than what we are making right now? I'm not saying that everything will be perfect, but the thing is that mentorship will help you to make the better decisions than what you are making right now. Understand? And that experience that you built on and that you pass on to other people as well. What you go through, when you come out of that situation through mentorship, that helps other people as well moving forward. Anything Priya you want to share in that?
Okay, so one of the biggest thing I have learned when there is a situation, first thing we wanted to focus is being united as a couple. Like in any situation, personally I have my own opinion, and it will be exactly opposite what he thinks all the time.
I'm always
Actually, I would agree. So we don't want to fight for like who is right or who is wrong, but we want to be on one side. And many times it has happened, we have said, okay, let's take the perspective of our mentors, let's talk with them, what they have to say. And we have been to them and asked what is the right thing to do. So this is the one thing that had helped us. Communication and strong communication with mentors. Sometimes we feel we can solve it by ourselves, but at least we want mentors in the loop that they know what's happening. Second thing is whenever we talk to Hemant or Subhash and Shweta, we always talk about the situation Plus, we also come up with a solution. Like what would be what we are thinking and what are their thoughts. So it's just not like getting direct answers from them, but we also want to make that thinking what are our thoughts and what is their perspective. And especially like with having a kids, it's always like there will be something or other thing happening. So it's good to have a routine for everything, so we don't miss on any habits in any situations.
So hope it gives you some idea about mentorship, how to apply or activate mentorship in our life as well. The second thing is not getting results quickly. We all have been through that. After it, come back excited, go out every day to make connections, may take a couple of candidates through the process. Things don't work out the way we're expecting, and we just put it on the side. Don't go out and talk anymore to anyone. And once we stop, then nothing happens after. I don't have any connection, work appointments when I have nothing. So this is how many have been through it. Don't raise your hand, but you know what I'm talking about, right? And we have been through it many times. Like we decide to do something, do it for a while, don't get the results we expect. And we all are human beings, right? We get upset, we get frustrated, and we just like, man, forget about it. Now, how to overcome this? Again, what has helped us a lot is communication. And also, when we reflect on the partners that who are growing in the business right now, one of the biggest trends, what we see in them is communication with their coaches and mentors. And discussing with them about what's happening, seeking feedback about the appointments that they do, which helps them to fine tune, tweak a little bit here and there, and not especially they don't get frustrated with the results, because we all go through that initial failures. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 weeks. I'm talking about months sometimes. That nothing happens in terms of the results. That we're doing appointments, we're making connections, but we're not able to launch something. And sometimes months go like that. We have been months that we were not able to launch something. But communication with our coaches and mentors has helped a lot in this kind of situation. And so it does as well, even today as well. I think we want to add.
Yeah, I agree what Darshan said. When we were in Canberra, we had a night out with one of our team, and I shared that as well. Like, we are not perfect. And we know this philosophy, like in any appointment we do, either we grow or our business grows. But sometimes if our business is not growing, it hurts. And it's hard. Like if we do 3-4 appointments and we doesn't get a result, sometimes we feel, are we doing anything wrong, or are we capable? So find something that helps you to get out of that situation faster. For us, it's definitely a communication. I need to talk with you, Darshan or Shweta, if something is not happening the way we thought. So for sure.
A couple of other things is lack of clear goal in life or in mind about the business or whatever. I'll give you an example. See, this is what happens when we don't have a clarity in our mind that why we are doing, why we're going out, or whatever it is. One of the things what happens is the core habits become boring. I don't know if you experience this. Like you don't feel like listening to audio, you don't feel like picking up a book or coming to workshop or FNH, because it's meaningless now. Because when we don't have the growth mindset, when we don't have the goals to hit, these things are boring. I'm going to be upfront with you. It's not fun coming to workshop or FNH without any goal. This is a similar workshop, similar trainings, especially those who have been in this program for maybe 6 months or 12 months. For you, it's boring. It's not any value addition. Because see, understand, for someone who's brand new, man, for them it's like, wow, because the environment is exciting, it's positive. And for you as well, the environment is one of the, yes, absolutely, the environment is such a empowering, such a positive environment that you would like to come here. But if you're coming without any goals, and you've been through that, okay, it becomes very like, oh man, do I want to go again to the workshop? Should I go to FNH? Right? it's not that you don't have intention of doing it, but it's that you don't have clarity about why you're doing what you're doing. And then these things are not value adding in our life anymore. Because it becomes like one of the routine things, like a job that I need to show up just to, please my mentor or please my team. We have been through all of this. That's the reason I'm sharing, because it's especially when you don't have a clear clarity in our mind why we're doing what. Yeah.
In terms of goal, personally what we do, me and Darshan, is we keep it simple. We keep our goals in front of us. We have a whiteboard, which we keep in the room, and we keep our goals in that. We don't do anything fancy, but just whatever we are hitting for that one. So that keeps us reminding all the time what we need to do.
One of the other things is having a too big goal, or deciding to change too many things in life at the same time, or making too big changes in our life. Sometimes we will make these resolutions after this excitement or function. I'm going to completely transform my life. From tomorrow onwards, no this, no that. And we try and add so many things, new things in our life, and we'll try to take out so many old things from our life. And a lot of time it backfires. Because gradual change works much better. I can give you an example of, about 3 or 4 years back, I worked on my weight loss. And I've heard stories about people losing like 10 kilos in 3 months and things like that. I was never excited about those things. Because the moment they stop doing what they're doing, they go back, it shoots up. And I lost, over 2 years, I lost 10 kilos. But it was gradual progression. I didn't see any change in 1 month. Initial 3-4 months wasn't a big change. But when I tracked for 2 years, it was a massive change. I realized, I lost actually 10 kilos. And I maintained those habits with me. What I developed during that weight loss program, I continued those habits because I didn't want to go back to my old habits, otherwise I'll gain weight again. Understand? So it's important that we gradually make changes rather than just suddenly bang, and we want to make big changes in our life, and then, it's become too stressful or it's too much that we are not able to handle it for a long time. Because you may be able to do it for a week, but then doing it every week, sometimes it becomes too hard. So have a discussion with your mentors and discuss about, hey, these are things I want to change. Do you think it's too much? Do you think I should start with something very small? Because understand the gradual changes, it will kind of stay with you for a long time. Rather than making big changes suddenly and going through, again go back to your old habits. Anything good? One last thing is negatives from friends and families. Doesn't matter we listen to audios, books, there are still some who are influencing us. We still voluntarily give access. Give them permission to do that. We need to be careful with this. We need to keep our eyes and ears open to who we are surrounding ourselves with. And especially those who are not adding value in our life. I'm not saying they cut the friendship, but I need to make sure that I don't spend a lot of time with people like that. Those who don't believe in what I'm doing, we have to make conscious decisions in our life that we have to cut certain relationships because they were not adding any value in our life. And every time we see them or whatever, they just, it was kind of adding negative. Yeah. So evaluate what decisions, what relationships are adding value to your life. I'm not, again, there are disclaimers, okay? Don't just now, tomorrow morning, don't talk to your brother, don't do this. That's not what we mean. That's clearly not acceptable. There are relationships that we need to maintain in our life as well. It doesn't matter who they are. But especially those who, like friends or co-workers, who are adding negatives, if you don't need to maintain a relationship, that's okay. I'm not saying completely stop, but see how we can distance. Like if you're going out for lunch with your work colleague, and if they're adding any negatives to my life, you can stop going for lunch. That's not a big thing. You can say, hey, I want to read a book or something. If any of your friends, let's say old friends, you had a uni friend or whatever, if you think the relationship is not adding any value, you can cut down. Like that's what I did when I got launched into the program. The house I used to share with. We were friends for like a couple of years, like 7, 8, 9 years. We knew each other. But once I got into this program, I realized my priorities were different. I wasn't available on Friday nights, and they had to accept it. Some liked it, some didn't. I didn't care. Because a lot of people think I don't want to upset my friend. Well, if he's your friend, he's not going to get upset.
Yes.
Like if you're not feeling well and if you're going to a hospital, tell your friend I'm going to a hospital, so I can't come for dinner. Do you think he'll be upset? Because a real friend is not going to get upset. Same thing applies here as well. If you go to uni to attend a lecture, that's okay. But if you go for a business meeting, that's not okay. Well, that's not a good friendship. We need to evaluate these things. Who are the people who will be hanging out? Understand? And I'm not saying, again, guys, understand one thing. Don't show wrong attitude. I'm not saying that you tell them off. No. Don't try and be like, oh, I'm better than you. Don't get into those things. Okay? Just because I'm giving an attitude talk here doesn't mean that you have to show that attitude to your friend. You still have to be polite. You still always want to have good relations. Don't try to get into arguments or something. Like there are a lot of examples given by a lot of speakers as well. Like I'm not sure if you shared or something. He said that if your friend asks you, how's your business going? You don't have to start seminar and rally. That's not what they're asking. I made those mistakes initially. I was waiting for my friend to ask. Then as soon as he asked, I'll start. And do you think he came to business? No. It didn't work. Okay. Instead, just ask them, hey, how's your job? How's things with you? Show interest in them rather than talking always about what you do as well. Okay, that's not going to bring people into your business. You hope that it will, but it's not. Okay. Anything, Priya, you want to add? Cool. Couple of last things we're going to share and wrap up. Obviously, I've already discussed about hurdles. Because it's very important, especially those who are out there doing things, it's important to reflect back with your coaches and mentors. And seek perspective about the things what we are doing, are we on the right track or not. It's very important to have that good, healthy relationship and giving access to our coaches and mentors to correct us. Because if I go with an attitude of, I know it all, my coach, they have good people skills. They're just going to let me do what I'm doing rather than correcting me. And this is something I want to share as well. We have 2 90 days block, break it down into 30 days block, break down into 7 days block, and break it down into 24 hours block. If you want to know more about it, ask me.
Okay.
He wanted to share.
Be good to send me that.
Yes.
I think this was talked on by Hemant, I believe. We literally have 2 90 days block from now until September. Okay. We have winter convention in between. There's going to be 2 BBSs or jump starts. So see how we can leverage those events. But the idea is that if I really look at 90 days, it looks too long, too far. But if we break it down into smaller parts, what can I do on a weekly basis? There needs to be, in 90 days, there has to be 3 strategy sessions with my mentors. Talk about what am I going to do this month. Okay? There are whatever number of weeks in 90 days. See how many hurdles I can have. What activities I can do on a weekly basis. And then breaking it down to 24 hours. What we can do in those 24 hours to work towards the goal for those 180 days. So hope it makes sense, guys. This is something we wanted to share from you, and super excited. It's going to be a great session. Those we don't know, Meet and Retreat Sala. Man, you need to know them. I'll tell you one thing about them. So we had a privilege to listen to them once. Mint Salah, he has the biggest business in Australia for the last 22 years. Is that right, Mint?
Yeah.
22 years. He has the biggest business in Australia, in Apple. In the journey, first 16 months, it's more than 1 year, they were 3% in the business. For 16 months, they were 3%. Some of you are 6% and complaining. They were 3% for 16 months. And from there to being the number one business in Australia.
Yeah.
Their daughter is enrolled in the business. So they're obviously doing something which will make money. And I'm telling you, man, you need to get ready. And those who are engineers, he's an engineer as well. So that's a good connection point for you. But now, if you get an access from your mentors, we also have listened to his, there's a very talk by him, it's a couple of years old, but still relevant. They've shared about the journey, how they got launched and what they did to be where they are right now. So it's quite interesting one. To get hold of it, I would suggest you listen. So with this we are done. Back to Nisha.
Wow. Another power-packed session by Darshan and Priya, right? Before they have done a huge amount of performance. Absolutely. And with this, I think we are coming to an end of this Tuesday workshop. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Melbourne leadership for giving me this opportunity to host this amazing event. So, who is doing the workshop next week? That's Mr. and Mrs. Excitement. Yeah, Nick and Diana. And they are hosted by my coaches Robin and Nancy. So with this we have come to an end and have a safe trip back home. Good night.